Professor Luce, and as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be part 2 of chapter 6 or 10. So here what you see is, sorry, moving the screen here. So what you see is the credible sources, and this is not the end-all be-all guideline, but it kind of gives you an idea of where to start for credible versus incredibly biased and not reliable sources. And you see it skews all the way from most extreme left to most extreme right. It also goes up and down where you have original fact reporting down to contains inaccurate or made up information. And really where you want to be is you can start with this opinion, fair line, persuasion line, and then go up from there. And then ideally it's either in the skews left to skews right. Neutral is going to be tougher, and as you can see, the further down you get to where you have opinion, it is going to skew more. So if you have opinion and fair persuasion, I would say definitely keep it above this orange line, and you should usually be all right. And then try to keep it, from skews right to skews left in that section as well. It doesn't mean an article is necessarily not going to be valid. It just means that there's a higher probability that that information is not going to be accurate or reliable. When you talk about original fact reporting, you see things like the AP, Reuters, Bloomberg, C-SPAN. Everyone says that they want, well, give me just the facts. But in reality, we don't want that. Why? Because those are live streams, and people don't have time to sit there and watch a court case for days upon days, or to watch the AP feed and watch a video as it's streaming in and waiting. We want people to synthesize that information. And when you get rid of the fact reporting and move to synthesization, that's when you're no longer getting just the facts. Somebody took all that information and collapsed it down to whatever was they felt was the most important highlights from that media. So people don't generally want just the facts. Instead, they want people to do some of the work for us. And that's where you get down in some of these other news organizations. So you get fact reporting, which is where that synthesis happens. And beyond that, you get complex analysis or some sort of mix of fact reporting and analysis. And then you get analysis, which is no longer complex. So the more simplistic headlines, brief explanations, and then you get opinion based on that, along with fair persuasion. So this is not end all be all. It does not include all media, obviously. But you notice down here, you get some of the more biased news sources, Patriotics, Bipartisan Report. You also see things like the Daily Mail, the New York Post, Blaze, etc., InfoWars. So that's where you really want to be careful in avoiding those news sources. Additionally, I think you all should know this by now, that Wikipedia is not a credible source. The same is true with some of those other information gathering websites where they are user edited. There's nothing promising that Wikipedia is going to be valid. A good example, one of my friends became known as the third funniest comic in the Kansas City area because he wanted to be and put himself on Wikipedia, and people just didn't care, right? Like nobody's fact checking Wikipedia to see who's the third funniest comic in the Kansas City area. So he made himself that. So with Wikipedia, I understand you may use it to learn generally about a topic, but you always want to take it with a grain of salt. And obviously that's not a source. You might find valid links to sources there. You may not. So maybe it's a starting point, maybe not. You do have to be careful, and you definitely would never use it as a source. Okay, so where should you research? Well, I provide 3 links here, which are also available, in the PowerPoint via D12. The HGTC library services. There's a link for the 5 best resources for writing a research paper, and then 15 educational search engines. That's way better than just going to Google. I know that's where you tend to start, but these are going to be pre-screened resources that will provide you with more valid results. When it comes to source credibility, think about what does .org represent. All it means is it's an organization. And when you go to DHMO, what you'll see, I want you to go ahead and go there. I won't give you everything. Think about if they're credible or not, and realize it is a valid website I promise you everything on the website is true, but there's a big catch. And if you're not sure what the trick is, after going to the website, Google, what does dihydrogen monoxide mean? All right. And then you'll be able to figure out like what's going on with the website. But I promise you everything on the website is accurate information. One important thing to remember though is .org does not necessarily mean they're credible. In addition to this example, there was one called martinlutherking.org, and that sounds credible. What you would find out, please don't Google it, they don't need the traffic, is that it was actually run by a white supremacist organization. The KKK is an organization. There are other organizations out there. It doesn't mean that information is credible. It just means they exist as an organization. So .org does not automatically mean it's credible. The same is true with .edu. You may think that's only tied to the university, but in reality, some educational websites or colleges have given spaces to students. So I know that when I was undergrad, I could have had my own personal web space under .edu and then / some sort of combination of my name and numbers. So .edu doesn't necessarily mean it's credible, so you have to do a little bit more digging. Why do we cite sources? Well, number one, it helps you to avoid plagiarism. There are significant repercussions to plagiarism, both here at the institution and then also outside of here when it comes to real world. There are significant implications to you plagiarizing. By citing sources, it gives you credibility. So it's not just you saying it, and it's not even just one source saying it. Citing a multitude of sources tells us that there are several different agencies that support what you're trying to tell us. This is how you need to verbally cite the source for this class. Outside of the class, you might do something different, but I think this is sort of like a fair compromise that gives us an idea of what's going on so that we can find the source if we wanted to. So you want to provide the author, and by that, it doesn't necessarily have to be the author's name. It could be the newspaper organization, so it could be the New York Times, the Washington Post, etc. If it's a book, it could be the title of the book instead of the author's name. If it's a magazine, you could say like Time Magazine, or you could say the actual author. That's perfectly fine as well. That's part one. The second part of that is you have to give us a date. And the general rule is always going to be as specific as possible. So for a newspaper, generally that means the specific date, the month, the day, and the year. For a book, it's going to be just the year. Now for both of these, for websites, it gets a little tricky. So when it comes to a website, I would prefer that you tell us whoever is running the website. So don't tell us www. blah, blah, blah. Instead, tell us whoever owns the website, runs the website. And then for the date, ideally, you can tell us last updated. Be careful, you would never do that for like a news organization. So you wouldn't say according to the ABC News website updated, because they update like every 5 minutes, if not more frequently. So instead, you would give us an article date if it's on a news website. So regular website run by like a company or an organization, tell us when it was last updated. And if you can't find that information, that's when you would tell us last access. And that just means what day did you last go to the website. So this kind of information, it's basically what I said. So you can review this, but this is a more specific form of that. All right, and that's all I have about source citation. Again, you do need to use credible sources, so be sure that you are vetting your sources very, very carefully. And if you have questions about a source, I'm happy to give you whatever feedback I can. Just make sure that you give me the proper information so I can do a little bit of digging. Additionally, the SSDC is a great source for going to them, getting help. If you can't find information, that's a good place to start. The library and the librarians are always happy to help you. And then if you're really not sure after asking them, you can ask me about source credibility as well. But they're going to give you probably a faster response because I have over 100 students in any given semester versus they may only have to deal with specific questions like this. and obviously have a lot more to answer when it comes to classes overall. All right, hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks.